Now tuned into the greatest.
The Run with Manny Wilson podcast.
The Run with Manny Wilson podcast.
The best sports podcast there is.
Yes, sir. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to The Run with me, Manny Wilson, all the way from Detroit to Chicago to your speakers and headphones. I appreciate you tuning in to the first interactive sports podcast, a community that makes sure your voice is heard. So if you hear something you agree with, you disagree with, you like or you dislike, go ahead, shoot us a quick take, 219-413-9405. And of course, we'll play your take back on our next episode. And then speaking of episodes, shout out to SeatGeek for sponsoring this episode. Get $20 off your first ticket purchase when you use the promo code The Run Podcast. You got to say The Run Podcast. Now, this code can only be applied to first-time users on the mobile app or our website. So, not sure about you, but definitely want to hit a couple of games this year. So, gonna go ahead and create my account and then use that promo code, The Run Podcast. Save myself $20 there. Anyway, look, man, speaking of football and going to these games, we witnessed a great game out in London, or was it really a great game? I'm talking about the Vikings and the Jets here. The Vikings, they won over the Jets 23-17 in London. And this was kind of a wild game. It wasn't really the most tactical offense of a performance from both sides. It was kind of weird, honestly, bro. And I don't think will happen. And I know some people are going to call me out and be like, oh, bro, why you hating? You just hating on what we seen, Aaron Rodgers the GOAT and all of that. But look, bro, let's be honest for a second. Please. Just think about this. I'm going to give you something to think about. Think about how crazy it is that last week we seen the Jets go against the Broncos and they lost. And we said, oh, that was a terrible game. It was an awful game. The Jets didn't have it going on offense. Aaron Rodgers looked bad on offense. It was a clear miscommunication. And, it won't happen again. Bad game. That's all. Won't happen. They'll pick it up against the Vikings in London. Then the following week against the Vikings, they got progressively worse as the game went on. And they got worse than what we seen in the matchup against the Broncos. Like, I genuinely did not think it could get worse than what we seen in the matchup against the Broncos. They only had 9 points against the Broncos matchup last week. And this time, they got 17 points, but it was still just an ugly performance. And you got to give a lot of this credit to Aaron Rodgers, bro. Look, before anybody say I'm hating on him, I want Aaron Rodgers to be great. I want Aaron Rodgers to go out here, be 40 years old and still dime up the rock and still win ball games and pretty much show Brady, hey, I'm not the only one that can do this. I'm 40, I can ball out too. But damn it, this is not what we've been seeing. This is tragic right here from what we're watching with Aaron Rodgers. In this game against the Vikings, Aaron Rodgers was 29 for 54 of passing. He threw 3 interceptions. He was sacked 3 times and he had a quarterback rating of 42. 42. Aaron Rodgers did not look good. And the part that really hurt me most about watching Aaron Rodgers play bad like this, throw these bad passes, throw multiple interceptions, was the fact that I watched Aaron Rodgers with my own eyes. I watched him throw multiple bad passes and then look over at the refs as if they did something wrong. That was the part that really blew my mind. He out here throwing bad passes that's not to his receiver and over their head behind him and all of that, and then looking at the ref for a flag. What kind of sense does that make? If you look at the last play of that game, the one that pretty much sealed it, it was the interception from the Vikings, and kudos to the Vikings because they did their thing. I want to give credit to them. They balled out. If you look at the last play, it was an interception, and Aaron Rodgers didn't even give his receiver a chance on the jump ball. He literally put the ball behind him, and the receiver had no chance in hell to possibly grab the ball. It was ridiculous. So I give Aaron Rodgers all of this hell because it's deserved right now. It's not because I'm trying to hate on him or anything. I'm just calling him out because it's needed. It has to be said, bro. I wouldn't be right. I wouldn't do my job if I didn't acknowledge this awful performance from Aaron Rodgers. And the part that really trips me up, I don't care how big of an Aaron Rodgers fan you are. I seen a statistic. I seen this stat and it just blew my mind. It's the fact that when we look at last year with Zach Wilson on the New York Jets, so many people hated Zach Wilson all the way in week 5. They were like, no, we hate him. We can't stand him. Zach Wilson is not that guy. Only if we had Aaron Rodgers. Only if this was the only. That's all we kept hearing is, man, the Jets need Aaron Rodgers, and they would probably be this, they would be that, they whatever, all of that stuff. But the thing is, through week 1 through 5 last year, Zach Wilson got the New York Jets 93 touchdown points. He scored 93 points with that offense. The New York Jets as a whole had 93 points. Correction. So the New York Jets last year with Zach Wilson, a quarterback that they despised, the fans hated him, got death threats, was treated poorly by Jets fans and everyone who is analyzing the NFL. Zach Wilson in the New York Jets scored 93 points last year. Aaron Rodgers, up to this same point, week 1 through week 5, in the New York Jets only has 93 points this year so far. It's a damn shame. It's a damn shame. So the same energy y'all have for Zach Wilson, y'all need to have that same exact energy for Zach or for Aaron Rodgers right now, because he's not looking good. He's not doing anything special for the New York Jets that y'all talked about so much last year. It's ridiculous. I know y'all seen Aaron Rodgers crawling around on the floor too. That was a damn shame, bro. And the man ain't never looked over 40 in his life. He showed every bit of that age 40 on the sideline when he was crawling around. Oh my gosh, it was nasty. It was nasty. It clearly showed, I don't know. It showed the difference of what Brady did for his body compared to what Aaron Rodgers was doing. Because, man, oh man. When you think of a 40-year-old playing football in the NFL, that's how Aaron Rodgers looked on his sideline. It's like, he's 40, all right. Yeah, damn, that dude definitely 40. If I had to pick somebody, that one's 40. If I don't know nothing about football and I had to choose somebody who was 40 years old, it's definitely that dude right there, the quarterback. He looked like it. And I say all that to say, too, Aaron Rodgers wasn't alone. He wasn't alone. The Jets as a whole did not play a great game. We've seen a lot of penalties on the defensive side. Sauce Gardner had some trouble locking up Justin Jefferson. And some of these flag calls were very, very petty. I thought they were very tedious, but above all, it was kind of hurting the Jets as a whole, because these are happening on crucial third downs and crucial downs that could have ultimately helped the Jets get the ball back for more possessions. But, despite the defensive side of it, there was still guys, even on the offensive side of it, that wasn't helping Aaron Rodgers out. So I talk about Rodgers having these interceptions and all of that, but the receivers dropped these open passes. Lazard, Conklin, Breece Hall, like they were not catching the ball. I don't know what it was up with the Jets receivers, but they could not catch the ball. Lazard dropped a touchdown pass. That was 6 points. Touchdown pass. He dropped it, let it go completely. So that hurts right there. And then you look at the O-line, you couldn't get a run game established the entire game. So, of course, now Aaron Rodgers has to throw the ball every possession. And, the play call was just very questionable. It was wild of when they wanted to run the game and when they didn't run the game or run the ball. I should say it was just wild to me, because there was a drive I watched them. I believe they were 2nd and 2 or something, picked up a good amount of yardage. 2nd and 2, didn't convert on the run. 3rd and 2, tried to run it again, did not convert on the run. It was just embarrassing, bro. Like, for those in London who happen to watch this game, just know this is not, the American football that people are so hype about. This is not the football that we watch and we're like, hey, this is the football we love to see. Just know this is not it. This was not a good example of that at all. It was an awful example of that. They're 9 for 34 in third down conversions over the past 2 games. 0-2 for fourth down conversions. Like, this is Jets. I don't know why we sent the Jets over there in London. Maybe because we thought Rodgers was going to have his team well established and the Jets as a whole was going to be well established by now, but this is not a good representation of American football. That was an awful performance there as a whole from the New York Jets, and it was rough. But I think the Jets, man, they're cooked. They're cooked. It's over with. Dinner will be served soon, because I seriously doubt we see the New York Jets, go to the postseason and have a lot of success. I doubt they can turn it around. I would be very surprised if I did see that happen, because next up they got the Bills. Bills have not looked good. We've seen Josh Allen just go 9 for 30 or something like that, which was awful. So he's going to try and have a bounce back game. Then after that, they see the Steelers, the Jets and the Steelers. Steelers, great defense. Offense is still a little shaky, but can make something happen. Patriots, you might catch a break there, but then Texans, Cardinals, the Jets is cooked. Other than that, hey, look, man, we got a side note in a quick second. Don't go anywhere.